Welcome back on this glorious and amazing day. I could write a book about this, but I think I'm going to keep it in one clip, just one of the many, many stories that I have. And what happens with many families is that one or both parents use this abusive power of just commanding, dictating, and really not being fair so many of the times, and a child is never allowed to ask or question or demand justice. And in more severe cases, there's absolutely despicable behavior of parents. In many families, this takes an end when the child is in their 20s and 30s, and then they get married and have children. And at that time, there's a little bit of confidence from this little child that they bossed and kicked around, physically and figuratively. Yes, I have stories of physically as well. And suddenly, the father and mother now have a little bit of a tough time because they want to see the grandchildren. And now they feel a bit threatened, not by the 7-year young child that's asking questions, but now by the 35-year young daughter or son that's not picking up phone calls, that's not responding, not because they're bad, because they don't need to be kicked around anymore. So one of these were my clients in Texas, and her father and her mother, but it was mainly her father, finally decided that they're going to go to this woman's therapist that she was working as well locally, besides with me over the phone and video. They're going to work with that therapist in Texas because I have some people that talk to me, and sometimes I tell them to go to a local individual that will be able to help them. And that situation, it was very simple, where the daughter came to discuss all the issues, and then the father and mother was able to come into the office locally with that therapist and work it out. To make the long story short, I receive an email or phone call, if I can't remember, from this therapist saying if I could spend some time, he wants to have a discussion with me. I knew who this therapist was, and I said sure, because I was involved with this thing. I make a time to talk with this wonderful fellow, and he says, I need your help. I go, sure, whatever I could do, I could do. And he said, I've met separately with these parents, and the father's a big rabbi, and the father knows the Torah, knows a lot. I don't. I'm Jewish, but I don't. And every time I try to challenge him about the relationship between him and his daughter, he kept on telling me that it doesn't say anywhere in the Torah, it doesn't say anywhere in the Bible that a father or mother is meant to respect and, being nice, so to say, to their own children. What it is, part of the 10 Commandments, is that a child is meant to respect. And it sounded pretty convincing, this therapist tells me, because, hey, I never thought about it. In the 10 Commandments, it only seems like it's a one-way street. And he wants me to shed some light. It was hard because I felt like exploding. So basically, I gave him about a 15-20 minute lecture that I will try to condense in 3 minutes. I basically told him about this idea, this sin, which again, I was never taught. How could I be taught by my rabbis and teachers that broke that rule? So that's why they never taught it to me. There is a law of onas devarim, hurting people with words. There's actually a sin of hurting people's feelings, if you believe it or not. I told him there's a book by Zelig Pliskin. It's sold on Amazon too. It's called The Power of Words. It has, 300-500 pages. And it's originally written for Jews, but anyone could read it. It really breaks it down how you could get whatever you want. And it goes through alphabetic order of every single topic. So if you want to put a mother-in-law, it's going to show you how to speak to your mother-in-law. If you want to go, it literally has hundreds of topics, very easy to read. I just started from the beginning because I was just amazed, and I think I cried while I read it when I read it 20 years ago or more, because this is what I felt as a child, and I knew it instinctively that each and every human being needs to be respected. There is a concept of respect. So I basically told this therapist, and we went on more and more with greater details. I told him there's a whole book about it. You could actually get it for your client or ask him to read it. It's a bit embarrassing because he's the rabbi. He should be teaching you about it. Now, it's not because he was a cruel, bad person. It's very simple, because he was taught and brainwashed all this nonsense in this whole narrative that it's a one-way street. But not only it's not a one-way street, but we need to be a living example. Please join me next week. I will share with you a fascinating story in an Ontario courthouse that I was present for a murder case that someone that I knew personally. And although, I don't know, what is it, 20 years, maybe more, since that trial, I'm still amazed by that fascinating story. It has taught me so much, and it might answer many of your questions about sensitivity, well, you can't talk to your child. Join me next week, and even after I finish the series, it will never be enough. This is just sort of a little window, because this topic, for me to explain properly, my gut tells me between 3 to 5 hours, not with just a few little video clips, but I'm opening up your mind. We're going to some critical thinking, various sources, and we'll take it from there. Please join me next week, and the story will be as I sit in the courthouse. We might have to divide next week into 2 weeks because it's a little bit of a longer story. All the very best. Until then, please remember that you are way greater than you think you are. Oh, yes, you are. Your mistakes will not identify you. Your mistakes will be something for you to learn from and become better. You are not your mistakes, just like a diamond is not the earth and the dirt and the mud that's on it. It is on it. We need to clean it off, but that's not you. For you are good.